Michael, a Mercedes guy here, on how to replace a door stop or door check or door limiter. This holds the door open so it doesn't swing back on your leg. And this I pulled from my stock, and somebody has painted it silver, obviously to match a silver car. So the first thing I'm going to do is rough that up a bit. And then paint it. Now, I use a place called Quality Paint, and they will mix up an identical color to your car. And also Napa has the special tool. It's a handheld computer with a camera, and they'll put it on a flat spot of your car, and it will tell the exact mix of ingredients to make the same color. So that's what I have here, and it's handy for touch-ups. And if your car has never had a clear coat, it's a lot easier because that's single stage, and you use a single stage paint, and it's much easier to blend. If you have what's called a double stage, which means there's a clear coat over the original paint, then it's a little trickier to touch up because you also have to use a different base coat and a clear coat. But fortunately, this 240D I'm working on has never had a clear coat, which most of us Mercedes guys hate the clear coat because over time they will start to discolor and flake off. So I'm going to touch this up, and what I like using is a piece of welding rod to hang on to this. The wind's blowing that way. We're going to go over here where the overspray won't get on anything. You always want to watch where your overspray is going, because then you have to do a cleanup, and it's more trouble. You always want to tip your can upside down to purge the tip of any paint. And then with the welding rod, it's really handy because you can just hang it up on a nail out here. So I like lubing these door checks before installing. Makes for them sliding a lot better. And I like using a toothbrush, and I have a little teeny brush, and both of them I leave in my grease can, and I refill these little ones from a big container of grease. Now, with the door check out, you can actually swing the door so far that it will hit this fender edge and put a dent in here. So I'm going to do a little preventive trick here. So now, if the door goes too far, it's going to hit this tool first. but you want to not let the door open that far. But that's a just in case. So, what we're going to do here with the door panel off, and you can refer to my door panel removal video on how to do that. And this door check is mounted right in here with this bolt and a bolt here and a bolt here. They're all 10mm headed. And this pin, which has a clip on the bottom, and normally you can just grab that clip and pull it off. That's the clip. And then we have the pin. So, and it's normally in there pretty good. So there's the pin. And once you get it up far enough, I like to just grab a pair of pliers and pull that pin out. Now at this stage, this door will swing much further than it should, so be aware of that. Sometimes it helps just to put a chair or a stool over on the other side to keep the door in place, but I've done this enough times that I don't really need to do that. I'll just be careful. Okay, you need a 10mm socket. Got these bolts to the point where you can almost turn it with the socket. So what I like using, this is a part from a broken ratchet, and you got a nice thumb corrugations there to make it easier to turn, and you can turn it by hand. So those two bolts are out of there, and now we can get this broken door check out of here. There's part of it. There's another part. And there's several more parts inside the door here that you want to fish out, because you don't want stuff rattling around, nor do you want stuff plugging the drain holes, the water drain holes. And run this window up to give me some room. Now when you have your door panel off, you want to service the lubrication points in here, which is the door latch lock, and also put grease on these teeth on the window regulator, whether it's electric or manual. You want to put grease on them, and the grease, even though you can't get it on all the teeth, by the time it runs around through this small gear, it will spread it evenly. There's some more pieces. Now this is an early door check, and they have a problem in that they break right here, and then the thing falls apart. So there's even more pieces in here to fish out. There's 2 of these brass rollers and 3 springs. And I see a bunch of broken glass in there from when the window was obviously broken. So we'll use a vacuum to get the rest of that. And what I like using on my vacuum, back up a little bit, is an attachment so that I have a smaller hole and I can get down in the groove to vacuum that stuff out. But right now we're going to go ahead and replace the now painted door check. So this matches body color. Now when you buy these brand new, they're what's called gold anodizing. And from the factory, that's always painted with the doors on and the door checks in. Now this is the newer style of door check. They're much sturdier than this older. This is die-cast pot metal, brittle. This is steel. And they also have a better tensioning system with 2 balls that slide into the 2 positions. You can have the door 3/4 of the way open or all the way open. So this tang goes to the inside. And on this particular, the new style, they don't have a stud, they actually have a bolt necessary. So we'll come up with one out of my stock of fasteners. And by the way, if you ever need any Mercedes fasteners, I have them all. And I even sell 15 pounds of fasteners. I pick out everything that's corroded, bent, rusty, bad threads, and I pick out all the great big suspension bolts because people normally don't need them. And I'll sell 15 pounds for $75 plus shipping. And that way you can get the proper fasteners for your car. Note that if you go to the hardware store or the automotive store, those fasteners are made in East Asia, and it's a different metric than German. They'll have the same thread pitch, in other words, nuts and bolts will screw into each other, but they're floppy loose. Now we're going to poke that pin down in there. I still have these bolts loose. And you don't want to be pounding down this way, you can damage the switch, so just set a pair of pliers on that head. And where's the little clip? So now normally there's a couple of nylon washers, one top, one bottom. They're gone. They aren't that super necessary. but if they're there, I reuse them. Okay, the clip is on now. And all that remains is putting a bolt and tightening the bolts, and you're done.